What's going on, guys? Welcome to Boosted Motorsports. So behind me, I've got this 426 3-liter supercharged Dodge Dakota pickup truck. So it's 2025 now. We left this off in 2024. We're just trying to dial in the tuning and a little bit of small things. But I told you guys there was a couple things that we have to fix. So also, if the image looks a little bit different or the audio sounds a little bit different, let me know in the comments below how it's looking. I ended up investing in some new camera equipment for the new year, and I'm hoping that it's going to bring better image quality, better sounds, better a lot of things. I also got a new drone, a bunch of cool stuff, so I'm kind of excited to use this. This is going to be the first time recording this video on this. So here it is. What we have to do in this video is I got to shuffle around some vehicles. I kind of have all of them all over the place right now. We had to wire in a few extra things for the Holly from our standalone transmission controller. And I'm just waiting to get with Matt on that so that we can dial those things in. But in the meantime, there's two leaks that we have to fix that I told you guys that we found. The MDS plugs underneath the blower, those need to be replaced. I've got brand new Mopar ones. And then also this water pump is leaking right behind the pulley. So it's not the gasket between the water pump and the timing cover. It's actually the water pump itself. The seal behind where the actual water pump pulley spins, that is leaking and just sweating and dripping a little bit. So what we're gonna do in this video is move this all the way to where the Hellcat swapped Ram is sitting. We're gonna put it up, and I've got the brand new water pump over here on the bench. So we got a brand new Mopar water pump. We're not messing around here. There we go. It's brand new in the package. It's original Mopar part. And also brand new Mopar MDS plugs. So we're not messing around with this on this time around. So there you go. MDS plugs right there. So we'll get those two in there. Hellcat swap Ram. Also our Corvette Z06 for track use. We're going to be getting back to this. I got a bunch of cool stuff I want to do to this. We're actually going to be putting a C7 radiator setup in this and a bunch of other stuff. We've also got the bare brakes in the front, but we're going to be putting the bare brakes in the rear. So we've got bare brakes errata speed kit back here. But if you look over here in this box, we've got, well, actually two boxes. We have Bear's big brake kit for the rear. So we're going to change out the calipers and all that on this as well. So lots of stuff going on. This thing made me absolutely crazy the other day. I drove it all the way to Leadfoot City the other day. Didn't really record much, but just got a chance to get out and enjoy a little bit. And then I parked it, and the other day I went to go move it, and it would not move. It wouldn't start. The ignition wasn't working. I ended up tearing the whole truck apart and found this tiny little wire that somehow decided to break, and it controlled the whole ignition system, all the wireless keys, everything. So this is fixed again. These wheels I picked up, I haven't said much about them, but those are for our Dodge Challenger, our built Challenger. We're going to be going racing here soon. I just want to get this finished, get this out of here, and then we're going to get back to our own vehicles, going racing, seeing what the Challenger can do. If you guys have been following along with our RV, this thing, I want to get to some races, get to some tracks, all that good stuff. I also want to see about heading to some Mopar events this winter as well. So this thing is ready to go. It's been working. I'll show you guys the inside if you guys haven't seen this. But I pretty much have to do the floor, and yeah, she's been functional though. So this thing is ready to go. If you guys are interested in this, I know it's a bit of a side tangent from what we might be working on today, but kind of just a vlog style. So over here, I ended up putting a dehumidifier in here. So the easiest way I could think of was just put it in the shower in case anything happens to this, because I'm not always in here, but if this ever breaks or has a leak or anything, it's in the shower pan, and then the drain's just running into there. So that way it keeps it climate controlled in here, so that yeah, it's not sweating and stuff when we're not using it. So but anyways, yeah, at some point I do want to get the flooring torn out, redo the floor again once we finish the Dakota 426 build. Then we can get back to some of this stuff. So anyways, let's shuffle a bunch of cars around. So we're gonna move a bunch of stuff, so I'll take you guys along for that little ride as we move a bunch of cars out of the way. So let's fire up our Duramax with the Edge tuner, get this out of the way so we can get this out of here. Speaking of Dirty Max, I still have not washed this thing ever since we bought it. So I do at some point want to give this thing a bath and even a polish, because I still haven't even cleaned it. But here she is, Old Faithful though. This Duramax is awesome, you guys. It's just solid. And there she is. So we got our Edge tuner over there. I probably want to put a solid mount here at some point, because it's got the little suction cup, but when I don't drive for a while with the crazy floor to heat, the suction cup mount ends up popping off. So I also got a couple other cool things in here. I ended up mounting this guy. So this is the reverse camera for the trailer. We still have a reverse camera here on the actual RV. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. That's behind us right now. It's black and white, but it definitely works. we've got our TPMS sensors over there. We've got our Apple CarPlay, Android Auto over here. Pretty excited about all this stuff, but I'll show you guys the mileage on this thing. Still super low, 21,000 original miles on this thing, you guys. This thing has so much life left in it. So anyways, let's back this up. And then the other thing too is the gel coat, essentially, because this thing's a big boat essentially with fiberglass. It's like running out the front, and I keep getting these white stains on the front, so I'm gonna have to polish the gel coat and put a coat of wax on so it stops doing this on my windshield when I park it outside for a little bit. So we'll back this big pig up, and then we can get to the other stuff. And next up, we'll move the Hellcat out of the way. So I have the dash apart in it right now because I'm trying out different U-connects over here. So right now I've got the touchscreen out of it here, but I was trying a different one. I actually took the 2019 U-connect out of this because I put the newer one in Duke, our Challenger, but when I put the 27, I think it's a 2017 one in here, I can't control the temperature. It doesn't play along nicely with the HVAC module. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and move this thing. Turn this one off and we'll get another one. All right, Hellcat Ram. This one's probably the rowdiest sounding one out of all of them right now. Oh, I guess I should put the hood down. Also, you guys, I'm gonna be getting back to the racing stuff once we finish out this 426 Dakota. But if you guys are interested in buying any of these right now, the Hellcat Ram, the Hellcat, we've got the SRT 10 Ram. If you guys want to purchase any of them, hit me up. I got some stuff that I still want to do to this. I took off the fuel door because we're getting the color matched mirrors and stuff like that. So we use that as a sample. That's why that's missing right now. But we're going to be doing full power door lock conversion, power windows, power mirrors, power everything. And yeah, we're getting those mirrors back shortly also. Here we go with this one. I'm also going to be putting keyless on this too. So a bunch of stuff. This thing sounds rowdy. I'm not sure how the new camera's picking up the sound, but this thing sounds crazy always. It's funny moving this one because it's so wide. I gotta tuck the mirrors in so they don't hit the 4-post, because right now we're going underneath the 4-post lift with the Viper up top. So you can't use the mirrors to back up. You just kind of have to look around like a maniac and make sure you're not gonna smash into anything. So gotta clear that post. I gotta clear this post. You just have to keep an eye out, and that's what it comes down to. And there we go. We are out from underneath the 4-post now. She's tight in here, guys. It's one of the reasons why I need to get rid of some of these vehicles. We got too many at the moment. It's just getting crazy over here. So we'll go park this one over here. And then we can fire up the 426 Dakota. Thing sounds so good. All right, last but not least, I've got the Hellcat Ram running over there. So, but let's fire this thing up. Hoping I can put the dash back together once we kind of iron out the tune and we don't need any more additional inputs. I'm hoping we can finally do that. Settle in, and then we can move this guy as well. Alright. I don't know why this thing does this. It flips the image upside down by itself. So sometimes it's right side up, sometimes it's upside down as you see it here. Just that's what happens with these cheap radios, unfortunately. Okay, so we're gonna move this over here. Stare at our picture upside down. Okay. Watch, if I put it in reverse again, I bet you it'll be the proper way. Ready? Let's see. look, it decided to be the right way up now. Stupid thing. Alright, let's go. So we're gonna drive underneath the 4-post. Get this thing over here. We're gonna put this up on the lift and then drain the fluid out of it and start pulling everything apart. And here's what this one sounds like if you guys don't remember. As it warms up, it'll start settling into more of a chop, but all right, so there it is, up in the air. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start pulling things apart. Take off the intake, get that out of our way. I'm going to end up taking off our radiator shroud, so that'll come off there with our spall fan, make some more room because we got to get all in here. And I'm going to try to capture the fluid because all the fluid, the coolant is literally brand new, so there's no point in wasting it. So, and this thing you could eat off the bottom of it. So as long as we can capture it, then we should be good to go. So let me just start getting through it and I'll take you guys along for the ride on taking this thing apart. All right, guys, this thing is extremely tore apart right now. So I ended up just getting right to it, pulled the front bumper, pulled the supercharger. It's hanging out over there. And yeah, like suspected, it looks like at least one, and I'm thinking this one, an MDS plug. You can see there's a lot of oil around it. This one looks a tiny bit wet, but it also might just be a little bit wet from some fuel running down from the fuel rail, like you can see pooling right there, but it does look a little bit wet. So I think this one is a little bit leaky, and definitely that one. This one doesn't look too bad. This one looks pretty dry, but regardless, we're just gonna go all OEM on these. So that's the situation. Let me get these MDS plugs out. Again, these are aftermarket MDS plugs, and then we're gonna get the new OEM ones in here. I think I'm actually gonna revise that. This front one, even though it doesn't appear too crazy, like this, once I wiped out the gas, there is a lot of oil sitting right there. So really hard to say which one exactly is the culprit, but either way, let's get these out of here. Kind of interesting. So I just popped that one out that appears to be the culprit. You can see here the plastic from here ran over and looks like it nicked that O-ring knot right there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but this little plastic burr, this excess of plastic, I think ran over and nicked the seal right there. So I also wonder if underneath the O-ring, let me pop the O-ring off for a second. See this big seam line? I wouldn't be surprised if that's on the back side, and it's probably not helping things. Let's take a look. Yep, so as suspected, underneath that you have that formation from the plastic, from the mold, and that line is probably going to allow oil to pass along the back side of the O-ring on both gaskets, since it won't be able to create a nice seal against that plastic formation. And then of course the factory ones don't have any of that. So easy fix, but a lot of work to get to such a simple fix. All right, just took out the next one, same issue. Plastic peeled over and got between the O-ring and the block. All right, so we've got the two on the driver's side replaced, and the ones on the passenger side, I don't see that plastic peeled over on it, that excess of plastic, and of course this is one of the ones that was not appearing to be leaking, so swap out the two passenger side ones as well. Okay, there's the old water pump. I got to transfer over the sensors, the plug, the thermostat, and our hose. Here is the brand new, I don't know if you guys can see that, Mopar water pump. So brand new gasket, brand new pump. Let's get it on here. Kind of interesting actually. I've never really stared at one of these water pumps, at least for the 5764 variant, but look at that. So that's where it's leaking out of, is there's a little kind of like a freeze plug. I don't know if you can be able to see that, but it's actually wet, and when I tipped it, a little bit of coolant is sitting right there. There's actually fluid sitting in it. So that's where our leak was coming from. Very odd, but that's the suspect. And you can see it is a Mopar unit with the part number on it, so I guess maybe that's what's going on with these things. All right, so truck is back together. I ended up putting coolant in it, and then I cleaned up the big mess because this thing was just constantly dripping. Once I pulled the water pump off the front timing cover, it just puked all over the ground. So I had a big mess that I had to clean up. What I'm doing underneath here right now is I just finished putting some heat protectant around our fuel line, dressed it in real nice, and then with the Holley, they give you these 2 connectors on the O2 sensor, so I was trying to wrap them up as best as possible. It's kind of got like a little jumper harness between the 2. Anyways, that's in there. And then one thing that's been bugging me, but it hasn't really been anything too major, is whoever had this vehicle, you guys gotta remember, when this vehicle was brought to us, the engine and transmission was put in the vehicle, but it has the Holley transmission mount to go along with the Hooker Blackheart's transmission cross mount here. But somebody didn't use the hardware that was provided with the Holley kit, and instead put the factory bolts in here, but they're too long, so they put just raggedy washers on them to try to make up the difference. I don't really like that, so I'm gonna see if I can find the original hardware that came with the Holley. I don't think it was included in the pile of bolts that we got. That's kind of some of the stuff from the vehicle, but either that or we're gonna have to get a shorter bolt or shorten these bolts, but I want to get rid of these excess washers because I think it looks cheesy and it's just a poor way of doing things. So I did manage to find the hardware from the Holley in that box of just randomness that came with the truck, and it's so this will make it a little bit easier. You can see there the bolt is in there. It's a shorter length bolt substantially, so let me change these one by one, that way the transmission is supported, but we'll get those in there. All right, so hopefully you guys can see, but we've got the new bolts up in there, and we no longer have bolts with a bunch of washers spacing them out. So that part's done. Let's go ahead and bring this thing back down. All right, you guys wanted to see test driving? We're test driving. Look, somebody lost their essay all over the road. Somebody goes overboard. Oh my God. This is everywhere. So what we had to do.
Those are all the Biden documents.
Wow. See, I didn't even get political. Dennis did.
Easy.
Jeez. So right here you'll see 2 speeds. I don't know if you guys can see the smaller one, but speed signal, and then we've got our GPS speed is the bigger one. It's off a bit, but we just needed something to know when the vehicle was in motion. So speed signal is coming off of the transmission controller. The bigger one up top is coming from the GPS out of the Holley. And so what we're doing right now is just essentially testing everything. It's driving way better. It was doing a little cruise control action when I let go of the gas, but now the RPM falls off when you let off the gas like you would expect it to. And yeah, just driving it, putting some miles on it, just making sure everything works. So we sent the data log over to Matt, and yeah, keep driving it and keep you guys posted. I'm starting to get a little more brave sticking my foot into it, but it's only like 50 degrees or so today, and it's cold tires. It's a little bit hard to get traction. All right, we took this thing on a big adventure. Dennis, how far have we been driving?
How far?
How long do you think we've been driving it? An hour and a half?
At least an hour. Maybe a little more at lunch.
Well, it took 45 to get here, so we drove at least half an hour around town. And then, part of the vlog.
The adventure.
This is Dennis's SST getting painted. So, you guys wanted to see some paint. Look at that. All the rusties are gone. Getting it all in primer.
Yep, under the hood's all painted.
Damn. Looking all fresh.
That's gonna look nice.
Heck yeah. So, not done obviously, but pretty soon Dennis gonna have a painted SST.
Yep.
And then we had to go get that thing. This little tool he's got.
Tool.
So you can take the antenna
I don't know
off.
if I want to
Well,
do all this,
it's
but
just right here. Yeah.
doesn't fit.
Well, there's a million other sizes.
Oh no, there it does.
Yeah.
Don't need a wrench.
Nope, no tools.
Well, I'll leave it here. And since he has his thing all taped up.
Is the bed already painted? Maybe?
No, he was going to sand it because he's going to do the rhino line.
Oh, okay. Oh, there are back windows out too, so.
Yep, back window was removed. I
Okay.
have a new one on order once it's
Jeez.
ready to go back in.
Look at that. Well, I guess it doesn't look like there's any holes or anything, so that was good.
Yeah, the roof too, because he sanded the roof down.
So that's what I mean, yeah. Like
That's good.
it looks like there's still lots of metal there.
Yeah, he said it was thin in a couple of spots, but he was still pretty happy with how it was working out.
Dang, this thing's gonna be sounding good, looking good. What about the owner? Truck's getting a makeover. Is the owner getting a makeover?
Yeah.
You got World War I on your license plate.
Hey, what?
It says World War I on your license plate.
Maybe.
World War I.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was my license plate. No.
Drive. We've been driving this thing for a good hour and a half now. We're working pretty good. All right, let's just drive through all these cars.
Get out of the way. I heard the squeak that time.
Hey.
Definitely squeaked.
All right, well, we're behind all this traffic, but yeah, all the transmission stuff, you can see it's shifting good. Pretty good. Alright, so we're doing 70. No weird vibrations. Obviously we're in rush hour traffic right now, so can't really show you a whole lot more than that, but yeah, she's working, she's shifting. Everything looks good. Yeah, I said 8 PSI.
Yep.
That felt pretty good. I still didn't hear no limas. We got some data logs going over here. Dennis the data logger.
We gave that one pull.
8 PSI pull. It felt healthy though.
It had 8 PSI.
Were you looking at that or this?
Yes.
Yeah. I still don't hear no supercharger. It's working, but we don't hear anything.
We don't need to hear anything.
Yeah, we got ripped off. I think we spun.
Like 2 feet.
I didn't even put my foot to the floor. That was maybe halfway. Okay. I think we need more traction.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so it's the next day. We're just reviewing the data log from the truck. So this is the Holly, and Matt, who is tuning this, he said that our O2 sensor is reading very erratic. See how this here, this turquoise line, that's our AFR, our air fuel ratio. See how it's jumping all over the place like crazy? Something's going on, and what we're suspecting is it might be a bad O2 sensor. So this should be reading a lot more smoothly. It shouldn't be jumping. So here's where we did a little acceleration. So you see the red line is our RPM. It's going up, and our air fuel ratio is just jumping all over the place. Even over here, this is where I got off the gas here. And even off the gas, you can see the air fuel ratio is just jumping constantly. So we're headed over to AutoZone. We're getting a brand new, it's the closest place that I could find. It's like 30 minutes away, just in Tampa. We got to go pick up a new Bosch O2 sensor. It's the exact same one that's in there, but it's just a brand new Bosch unit. So let's go pick it up. We'll put it in and see if hopefully this clears up. Otherwise, we got to start chasing this thing down and figure out why it's reading erratically. Okay, so here we are, we're back, sensor's right here. All right, so here's the old O2 sensor. I don't see any Bosch stamps or anything on this, you guys. I looked, I don't know if this is like a knockoff or something. I don't know what's going on here. So you can see there, some sort of code number, but nothing that says Bosch. So this was the part number that I referenced online. And this is truly a Bosch sensor. All right, you guys. So right now I want to do something, but I just want to give you guys a quick update. So the truck's running, truck's driving. We've driven it for 2.5 hours. It has a few small little quirks, which I'm trying to get ironed out with the tuner, but I only ended up getting one revision this whole week. So I've just been at the mercy of the tuners to actually get this thing dialed in. But other than that, mechanically, it's all set. It's ready to go. I did actually, shout out to my buddy Brett. We spent, I'm not even exaggerating, probably 3 hours last night on a Saturday night. Today is actually Sunday. Bleeding the brakes on this thing manually just to try to get every little tiny spectacle of air. I am not exaggerating when I also say that I probably put like, I'm not even exaggerating, probably at least several gallons of brake fluid through this before we could finally say we were somewhat happy with the results. I put so much brand new brake fluid through this thing that the fluid that's coming out, I'm recapturing it because it is brand new coming out, but it just has air in it. And we went forever with this. And finally, I think it's half decent for now. Ultimately, I think what we should do is probably get some upgraded Willwood brakes or Brembos. I've seen a couple people who make custom kits for these things, so might see if we can get one of those at some point. But one other thing I want to do is, this might seem like a lot of work, but it's going to have to happen. There is a fitting on the top of the Holley fuel pump, and when we put it in, we put a 90 because you've got the fuel pump and then you got the bed there, so we just went ahead and put a fitting that came out of the fuel pump itself, and then a 90-degree fitting. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll try to show you guys at some point, but it's actually touching. There's not enough clearance between the tank and the bed, and I've got to put a different lower profile Earl's fitting in there so that it's not touching or contacting the bottom of the bed, because I just want to make sure that that's not going to be an issue. So what we're going to do is, I've got my Corvette Z06 up here. If you guys are curious on this, we're doing some stuff with the brakes. We've got a bare brake kit, but right now the front doesn't have brakes on it. I actually sent them into Bare to get serviced. So I've got my front brake lines just capped. So I should technically have brakes. I don't really have to do anything crazy other than just back this out and then bring that in. So we'll get this off the lift. We're gonna bring the Dakota forward. I'm gonna pick up the bed, or actually, sorry, let me reverse that. We're gonna put the Dakota on the lift, bring it up so I can access all the bed bolts without laying on the ground, remove all the bed bolts, and then we'll drive the Dakota back out, turn it around, and then we'll lift the bed off. We're gonna have to put the fitting in. If you guys are wondering on the fitting, I got my bench is kind of a mess here. So this is the Earl's fitting actually right here that we need. So this is gonna screw right in, and then this is gonna give us a tight radius 90 here so that we have our dash 8 fitting right here. So this is the one we're gonna put on, but I'll show you guys once we get to it. All right, so the truck is up in the air, and check this out, you guys. So 0 leaks, finally. So I don't know why that other oil filter was getting wet on the bottom. I don't know if it's the factory oil filter. I don't know if you guys remember a previous video, but it was a little bit wet on the bottom of the oil filter. Nothing there, nothing on the power steering rack. That's all dry. And then after changing those MDS plugs, bottom of the oil pan, everything is nice and dry, finally. So what I just finished doing was I took all the bolts for the bed, disconnected our tail lights, our license plate light, our license plate camera, our backup camera, that's all disconnected. Only other thing is the fuel fill neck. So once this comes back down, we'll disconnect that. There's 2 ways to do it. You can disconnect it here. I like to disconnect it from up there. I feel like it's a little bit easier usually, but probably what I'll end up doing is just taking out the torque screws there, and then it just kind of falls in, and you lift it as such. So let's bring this back down. Probably going to turn this thing around so that the bed's here, because I don't think I have enough room to go all the way forward and lift the bed off. It'll be kind of tight. So yeah, let's bring it back down. All right, so right now I'll show you guys. It has one of these fittings on it. This is another configuration you can do. So you've got your adapter that goes from your O-ring fitting to your flare or AN fitting. And then this is just a 90 degree. So, but the radius isn't really any different. You'll notice there. So really not too much different. So I'll show you guys what we're dealing with though. So right here, if you guys can see it, this is just barely touching up here. And I don't want it to just be rubbing on there the whole time. So if we switch it to the Earl's one, it'll give us a lower profile right here. And we pretty much want to stay as low as possible through here so that this isn't rubbing the whole time. So let me make that adjustment, and then we can put the bed back down. So this is the way I was telling you guys I like to take out this. Somebody else detached it from here, which is just more of a pain in the butt, honestly. 3 screws and the whole thing comes down instead of messing with the band clamp and all that stuff. So, and if you're wondering how I did it, I always like to lift it from the bed mounting points. So if you're securing something in the bed, lift it straight up. It's fairly easy. You can get in there, work on it, and then just put it back down. All right, so ended up making the switch. So there it is. So now it's much lower profile. Ultimately, this setup is gonna end up getting upgraded here shortly. This is kind of just a street, I almost wanna say car show, dare I say car show setup, because in order to actually turn this engine up, we're gonna need a bigger fuel pump, bigger fuel lines, all that stuff. But you'll see here, this is much lower profile. So I just left the original 90 on there. That way we didn't have to take this off, recut it, and then flush out the line and do all that. I just left the 90 there. Probably could have got away with a straight, but it's still a clean looking setup there. But just for reference, this is essentially what was on it before. So obviously we didn't take this 90 off, but this is just another 90. Like, look at the height difference. Obviously this is gonna go down, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch, but you can see it's like an inch higher as far as the profile. So much lower profile. Like I said, just a small switch, but just want to make sure that everything is taken care of and not going to be any issues or whatnot. So we'll go ahead and put the bed back down. It was as simple as that, but just a bit more of a process having to lift the bed to get to it, but she's done. All right, so I saved you guys the boring part, but I ended up just putting the bed back down. Then I had to put it back on here, put it back up, put all the bolts in, tighten everything down, and now she is back together. So, like I mentioned, it is Sunday right now, and I'm uploading this video today, so you guys are as up to date as I am with this. So it's pretty much finished, you guys. I am going to be getting some footage for you guys, driving it around, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. Like I said, this thing is an absolute animal, and it's honestly a lot for a street vehicle. And especially with these low profile tires, it is really hard to try to get any sort of traction, but I will get some footage for you guys cruising around, showing you guys the operation of everything. It is pretty cool having the integration with the 8-speed and the Holley, and having that Holley touchscreen. Like when I put it in sport mode on the dash or track mode, the transmission behavior changes. It doesn't go into full overdrive. It's more aggressive shifts, firmer shifts. So pretty cool the way all that stuff works. But at the moment, we are just waiting to finalize all the little quirks and stuff with this thing as far as the tuning goes. So I'm at the mercy of the tuners on this one, you guys, but kind of just part of it. So if you guys are enjoying the series, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you like best about this truck and this build. This one's coming near to an end, so I'm curious on your guys' thoughts on what you guys like to see on this channel. Let me know. We're also gonna be getting back to a lot of our own builds. The Dakota, the Hellram, the Z06. I got some stuff also with the Viper. I'm not sure if we'll get to that just yet, but we got pretty much stuff with everything. Also, our Dodge Challenger Hellcat, aka Duke. So we're gonna be taking that to the track. I got a few things. I don't know if you guys have seen this lurking in the corner. Pretty sure some of you guys have, but we've got this billet differential sitting right here for our Dodge Challenger Hellcat, so we can finally go to the track and see what it's capable of. So lots of exciting stuff on the way for you guys. So thanks for watching, guys. Head over to shopboosted.com. We got a bunch of merch, consultations. If you guys want to do some sort of Hellcat swap or any sort of swap, really, I can assist remotely for you guys and give you guys a hand and give you some knowledge and insight on that as well. So go head over there. We got a bunch of parts, merch, consultations. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one.